Welcome to Moon Harbor Heroes. Today's issue is Faces, issue 11, Repercussions. On the cover, Ryder Typhon is collapsed in the middle of Faye's sanctuary. His henshin phone lays cracked on the ground. The rest of the team looks on, filled with deep worry. In the bottom right corner, we see a silver embossed logo in bold letters, Blockade. We turn the page and our story begins. Okay, so our next panel is pulling out. We're gonna start it up with right where we ended. Ryder's just hit the ground, and I think just to reposition everyone, Faye was like standing in the circle. I think Myriad is around the edge of the circle, like touching Faye. And I think we're gonna start with Faye. What do you do?
I go and I as soon as he hits the ground, stop chanting and go and grab him. And I think we still have for some reason this word bubble is kind of lingering because we had him be oh, they're by the beach or they're on the beach at the end of the last issue. So we have that word those words hanging in the air literally as Faye gets to him. I think I grab him and I immediately pull him out of the circle. I have Rebecca was prepped with water. Rebecca, my mom, was prepped with water and a towel and stuff to immediately get him comfortable. So she's dripping water onto his face and into his mouth, and we've put a pillow under his head and we've got him laid out on the ground somewhere, and I'm gently squeezing his hand, being hey, Ryder, or Felix, I need you to wake up now. Felix, please wake up. Felix, I need you to focus. Felix, come on, wake up.
While you're doing this, you're going to see small, maybe small speech bubbles come from Ryder they're just groans. But you're going to see small speech bubbles of him groaning while this montage is going on.
And I think that's going to be kind of Faye's go-to for a little bit is shaking and prodding. And I think we have some of the other herbs that we didn't use on tap to almost smelling salt him to see if that'll help him wake up and it doesn't make him stir. Rebecca is consulting books that Faye is telepathically pulling off the shelf for her to look at to see okay, if a person has been surged through with magical energy, how can we take care of it? What are the cures for it?
While this is going on, Violet, what are you doing?
I'd probably go over and just start poking Ryder in the face with the stick. Come on, get up. Get up. We got shit to do. Come on.
As they're shaking him, Hyun's henshin device, which is a lot like the dino bucklers from Zoo Ranger, it falls out, and one of the things you can see, and this is in a panel on its own, you can see that the buckler, which originally was a blue, I don't think we described it last time, but it was a bluish buckler. It has actually taken on a gold color and basically had gold trim with Hyun's blue around the center buckler where the coin would go, but the rest of it has become a golden color.
And Carl, what are you doing?
So at the end of the ritual, I'm gonna form up into a ball and float above Ryder.
Okay, excellent. Anyone want anything else here?
I do want to add on the panel where the buckler falls out, I want a blue and gold electricity to also come off of it, it's still emanating from the energy that rushed through Ryder.
Oh, I like that. Maybe a couple pink tinge lines to show Faye's energies there.
Yeah. And then there'd be another panel specific because I want to focus on the buckler, since the buckler and the phone, because there's the transformation devices. I want a shot of the phone and actually show that the screen is cracked.
I like it.
So yeah, that's where I want to go. And there's no explanation as to why, but the screen on it is cracked. It's actually flipped open in a flip phone, and the screen is completely damaged.
We get a panel with a label a few hours later, and we have Ryder, or I guess Felix, laying out on that cot. And I think the rest of you probably assembled talking this over. What you've found out in the time between is that Ryder's going to be okay. He basically just needs to sleep this off. And he's probably going to be a bit weak and disoriented when he wakes, but he's going to be okay. You don't know exactly where this place is. I think all Ryder told you is, it's on the beach, and this is Moon Harbor. There's quite a lot of beach. So if you are all going to do any prep or planning, I'm going to ask you don't tell me what it is, and don't decide what it is. basically, I have a move that if you want to have spent time prepping, you can roll that move. It's going to give you hold, and you can kind of define what you did to prep to help you in the moment you need it.
I think Faye specifically is like flipping through books and like kind of gathering all the stuff she can about the cult. She's like taking down notes from printouts, and I don't think she's actually with the group right now. I think she's like in full work mode. I'm not saying anything specific about like what that prep looks like, or what she's learning, but I think like she wouldn't be talking, she'd be researching. And I think she has Rebecca, like every time Rebecca moves, she's like, no, Mom, go back and watch Felix, please. She wants someone to be keeping an eye on him. She just has other things to worry about right now.
Yeah, and I think we got Felix with like the wet washcloth across the head, full on.
Yeah.
I want to add that in the previous panels, when you saw the images of Ryder laying down, he was almost colorless, like really pale. But as he's resting there, his actually that godlike beauty glow is actually beginning to come back to him. And I want to point out that it is a glow for the sake of the readers, because he really hasn't changed how he looks.
Excellent, excellent.
It's not a sparkle?
Not a sparkle. This isn't Twilight.
It could be. So, Carl, what are you doing during this scene?
I think I'm going to do my spread out and canvas the city thing.
Okay, excellent, cool. So I think we get like a panel of Carl exiting out of the... maybe just like a panel of Carl exiting the sanctuary and then kind of spreading out.
I was kind of thinking that there would be like scenes of the city, like normal city life, like one guy talking to another guy and stuff like that. But there's also always like a little insect in the front of the panel. It's like snooping in.
Ooh, okay, yeah, I'm into that. And Violet, what are you doing during this time?
I've taken a nap in the corner. I'm more sciencey and techy, so the magic stuff is kind of a little outside my grasp of field.
Okie dokie. And so I want Carl and Faye to roll on that custom move.
Okay, so I got a +2, so that's an 8.
Carl, I'm going to roll for you. You got a 10 on the die.
11, so hold 2.
Okay. And I think our next panel is going to be another time transition, and it's going to be several hours later. We're going to have a close-up of Felix's face in the cot with like the wet washcloth across the head, and then your eyes open. Who is back at the sanctuary at this point?
I never left. I'm still here.
I'm still sleeping in the corner.
Carl, do you want to have been back at this point?
No, I think I'm still out.
Okay.
Ryder sits up on the cot, and you're going to see a panel of him kind of shaking his head. So I'm going to look at Mrs. Sharif and be like, because I'm not going to see anyone around at the moment. Everyone's out doing their thing, maybe in a different area. And I'm going to look at her and go, where is everyone? What happened? Why am I on this cot? And why am I wet?
She smiles down at you, and I think that Rebecca has like just the most wholesome smile that has ever been drawn. Am I wrong on that?
No, she's perfect.
Okay. And she says that ritual took a lot out of you, and she like looks over her shoulder and calls out for, what does she call you, Faye?
Lana.
And she looks over her shoulder and calls out, Lana, he's awake.
I'm there in a flash. I like come flying into the room. There are book pages like pouring out of the air behind me. I'm pretty sure that I like knocked down a chair on my way through, and I'm landing. I'm like, "Are you okay? How are you feeling? What's happening? Can you tell me anything? What's happening in your head? Talk to me. You're not talking. Why aren't you saying anything?"
And I think Rebecca is kind of backing out and goes, "I'm gonna give you two some space," and then exits.
I sit down and like squeeze your hand, and I'm like, "Hey, I'm so sorry. I didn't know that was gonna happen. Are you okay?"
Yeah, I'm fine. I've got a wicked headache, but I'm okay.
I get up and like start to like rush to get you Advil.
Don't
Whatever Moon Harbor's version of Advil is, because this is copyright free. Some generic store brand ibuprofen.
Don't worry about that. I'm fine. I'm just it's a little bit of a headache. That's okay. It's all. What is everyone doing? I remember saying something about a beach before I blacked out. Did we get any more information than that?
I'm back at your side with 4 different pill bottles and a glass of water with ice and a glass of water without ice, all like floating in front of me. And I'm like, okay, so I need you to not worry about that for a second. I need you to take these pills. I don't know which one you want, so here. And I like have all the pill bottles float in front of you and the 2 glasses of water.
Alana, it's okay. Just, I'm fine. I don't need that. It'll pass.
I glare at you.
I promise. And as I'm saying that, you're going to see the buckler, which is still on the floor. It's actually like sparking energy at me. And you see just like my eyes dilate really large and then go back to their normal size. And I'm like, I'm fine. My headache's gone. And then I look down at the buckler and it's going to show another close up of the buckler itself. You're going to see a panel of Ryder picking the buckler up, and he's going to look at it and go, "This wasn't gold before. What happened to me?"
Sit down, and I'm going to fill you in on the story.
So yeah, I'm going to jump over to Carl, and I think Carl, we get a panel, like a couple more panels of you doing your searching the city thing, and then I think we get a panel of you, wherever you want to be, but you see a large amount of the members of the Cult of the White Death loading into vans and start rolling it.
Yeah, I think the next panel would be that Alana gets like suddenly like a faint voice that's coming from everywhere that goes, "I think I found them." She'd probably be surprised about that because that's the first time I contact her with my hive power.
Yeah, I definitely like flinch, and I'm like, Felix, did you hear that?
After that panel, we cut to a page where there's on the left panels of Faye and Ryder, and Carl is on the panel on the right.
What are you talking about? What are you hearing?
Hold on, and I pull out my phone and I like shoot a text to Carl, and I'm like, did you just like telepathy me?
You hear like a million voices around you going, "I did," and then a giggle.
And I think I like literally like stumble backwards. I think I'm sitting on the edge of the bed and I tumble backwards. And I'm like, I text back, I'm like, that's really freaky, yo. And then text back immediately and I'm like, not that that's a bad thing. Just like, definitely wasn't expecting it.
You get like there's emotions flooding into you from all directions, and it's like a sense of comfort.
Okay, so this is really trippy. Can you hear me right now?
I can.
Okay, cool. And I'm like talking, and so Ryder is only hearing half this conversation, and I'm like, okay, so Felix, I think that I'm part of Carl's hive mind now, because they can hear me when I talk, and also I can hear them when they're thinking at me. Yeah. Hey, Felix is awake, Carl. That's a good thing.
I think I
It's
found
silly.
out where
Mostly.
the cult is. I'll be there in a second.
Great. Do you want to send us a coordinate, or should we just wait for you here?
At the moment that you ask it, like almost immediately, you get like a faint, your vision blurs faintly and you see what I see.
This is... Wow. I never need to do acid because this is the most bizarre thing that's ever happened to me.
Suddenly, Carl's voice gets a bit clearer and a bit like more in your face, and it's very hesitant. And it goes, "Is that okay?"
I laugh and I'm like, it's just weird, but yeah, it's fine.
Okay, cool. I'll be there in 10 minutes.
Great.
So at this point, Ryder is staring at Faye, going, "Who are you? Are you talking? Are you talking with Carl?"
Yeah, so right before all the stuff happened with the magic, we kind of had a moment, and then I was in his brain palace, or whatever he wants to call it. I guess we're going with the like BBC Sherlock version, so brain palace. And I think I may have inadvertently become part of his hive mind. So he can hear me, I can hear him. We can communicate over distances, and I think we might like be like linked now.
That's awesome.
Oh, yeah, awesome. That's what I meant. Awesome is definitely the right word for it.
Ryder seems to like get overly excited about this. Like the panel just shows his face light up like nothing's wrong. Everything's okay. That's cool.
And I think when I see what you see, Carl, What am I seeing? Like, are you coming towards me right now? Are you just like giving me like a shot of like the Call to the White Death? What am I seeing?
You're seeing the what I see said. So you're seeing the cultists drive into a nondescript warehouse, and you also get like.
They were actually leaving the warehouse. They were like loading up vans from the warehouse.
Okay, so they're leaving the warehouse, and you don't just get the visuals, but it's like, first of all, the visuals are like weirdly from all different angles in your mind. It's like you have 1,000 different views onto the warehouse, but there's also like smells and sounds. That makes sense?
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna like flinch, and I think I might take a powerful blow for that, for the first time that happens.
I am okay with that.
Like, someone just kind of took over my brain, like not rudely, but also like I'm used to thinking
Unexpectedly.
in my brain, but now there are 1,000 different pictures in my head at the same time. I'm gonna roll to take a powerful blow. That is a 6.
Yeah, give us the panels of what that looks like.
Yeah, so I think that it's all kind of blurry at first, and then suddenly it becomes crystal clear, and I see the entire, like, every angle of it, and I think that we see kind of, like, split panels. Like, I think it's a full page of Faye kind of split down the center vertically, her in the real world, and then her seeing what Myriad sees, and seeing the, like, 1,000-way split picture of the same picture in tiny little forms a million times. And then her like stumbling backwards in the same, like, she cuts between the two frames, I think, if that makes sense. And so we see her like stumbling backwards in both sides of the picture, knocking over a like small desk and sending all the pill bottles and such that she was focusing on flying to the ground. The glass shatters, the pills go everywhere. Do you think you're good, like strong enough, Felix, to like catch me and like pull me up as I'm about to fall?
I can definitely try.
Cool. I mean, I'm not like collapsing. I think it's just like you have to like help me catch my balance.
Yeah, then yeah, most definitely I can do that.
Cool. And I think that like that happens, and I'm like, hold on, are there any street signs near there? Do you have like an address? Can you try to look for an address for me? I turn, and as we get all the pieces like in place, I turn and I'm like, okay, they're heading from this address to from the warehouse district to the beach. I don't know if you can. Does that help you pinpoint where we are, or do you know where they're going, Felix?
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds familiar enough. I think with his help, I think with what Carl's seeing and what you're seeing, I think we can get from there to the ritual site. But Ryder is going to look down. There's going to be a panel. I love overhead panels. There's going to be an overhead panel of the two of them standing there, and he's going to be picking up. He actually, he stands to the side of Faye after the catch, and he's looking at his phone, and he goes, "I don't know if I can transform anymore." And he shows the cracked screen to Faye.
I think I like put my hand on it, and I'm like, I don't know. I think you probably can. I think that, I don't know, I've seen your henshin device survive a lot, so I think it'll be okay. Do you want to try it?
All right. Are we okay with a full panel, a full page panel of Ryder attempting to transform using the broken henshin device? It's going to be, it'll cover his body like it normally is, but like one of the shoulder pieces is like fading in and out, is almost transparent. Not complete transparent, but it's not completely opaque either. And part of the leg armor is opaque, and his right hand, maybe his left hand, the glove is missing after he transforms. But you see a lot of bluish electricity and energy coming off of the transformation when using this device.
I look at you after you finish the transformation, and I think we get the full page of what you look like after the transformation, and I'm like, I mean, it's not bad.
Just as soon as the transformation is done and she says that, and Faye says that, the transformation falls. It just is gone. And then Ryder collapses to one knee and he goes, there's something wrong. It's not holding.
It sounds like you're confessing a vulnerability or weakness.
When you share a vulnerability or weakness with someone, tell them a secret about your legacy, including your true feelings about it, to clear a condition and give them influence over me. I'm going to stand back up, and I'm going to be holding the buckler in my other hand, or in my hand, in my left hand. I was holding the phone in my right, and I'm going to look at Faye, and I'm going to be like, "There's something you should know about the riders," and I'm going to pop the back we'll pop the back off the phone and pull the coin out, and then open the buckler and stuff the coin into the buckler instead, and be like, all of our power is stored in these coins. One of our major weaknesses is that even though we have a lot of powers, we're still very vulnerable to magic. This, as you saw, can break the device. And in that case, well, no rider. And of course, she already has influence over me, so.
Yeah, I think she puts her hand on the buckler and on your hand, and she's like, well, I guess we're just not going to let that happen then, are we? I think she's going to shift Savior up and Danger down.
Oh, fuck. Okay.
I'm sorry, does that shift your life? Does that, like, break you?
No, it doesn't. My danger is incredibly low.
Oh, good.
That's hilarious.
And I think at this point, someone wants to wake up or enter. Let's start bringing the team together.
Oh, what's for breakfast? Oh, hey, Ryder, you're awake.
Yeah, I am. Are you feeling better?
I'm fine.
Well, good. That's good. Ryder's going to sit back down on the cot and then look around the room. So, where do we go from here?
Hey, where'd Carl go?
I close my eyes and I'm like, they're not far. Hold on. And then I'm like, hey, any ETA? You know when you're going to be here?
At that point, like a bunch of insects all around the room suddenly form up into Carl. I was here already. I just didn't want to interject.
You know, Carl, that'll never, ever not be creepy. But that's still awesome.
I'm going to, like, slip my hand into his and then be like, all right, so what do we say? Let's go take down some bad guys.
No breakfast first? I'm still groggy after being woken up.
At that moment, Rebecca walks in with, like, a plate full of, like, freshly cooked waffles, and she was like, I figured y'all would be hungry before your, like, big mission.
I'm down.
And then I do think we get a panel of, like, the four of us sitting and eating.
Does it look like the shawarma scene in Avengers? Because if it doesn't, I'm rioting.
I think it's...
I don't know what that looks like.
I think it's a super stated, like, picture of, like, that, like, we are literally just traced where the Avengers were.
I love it.
Like, it's so blatantly copywritten, it's so blatantly infringement, but we're just like, it's fine. They're our original characters.
Okay,
I want a writer's comment or an artist's comment at the bottom of the panel that says, "We're so going to jail for this."
The next panel is a overhead shot of this secluded beach area. It's fairly large, but it's not well used. It's surrounded in very rocky, cliffy terrain. There's only like one access road, and it's pretty hard on vehicles, so it's pretty much secluded. And on, like, near the middle of this, we have this giant sigil drawn on the ground in, let's go with like a red, like, stark lines across the sand. And we have a ton of armed guards from the church. We also have a figure cloaked in shadow. And this is far away, so there's not much detail. We have a figure cloaked in shadow, just kind of standing at the edge of the sigil, watching all this happening. And we also have several of the vans from the cult parked there. And then we're going to get a panel of the team. Where are you all?
I'm kind of hovering in. I'm probably right behind Faye, but in front of Ryder.
So I was going to say Ryder is going to ride his motorcycle in, but he is not going to be in transform state. He's going to be outside of transform.
I think we're, like, close, but not immediately there. I think we're, like, at the top of a hill nearby, if someone were to look and see us, or look up, they would see us, but, like, we're in some shrubbery, and I think I'm, like, telepathically, like, or telekinetically, like, sending some, like, sand up in the air just to kind of obscure our vision a little bit, or obscure, like, their sight of us a little bit. I think...
Is everyone good with, like, setting this on, like, a nearby hill? Like, looking over it?
I dig it. With the bike, if we're doing an overhead shot, with the bike on the other side of the hill, I'm not in costume and I'm standing at the top of the hill.
Well, as I said, I'm hovering right behind Faye. I'm just floating there.
Yeah, I'm absolutely in the front.
Carl?
I'm kind of behind Faye.
Okay, excellent.
I'm definitely in costume.
And then maybe we get
like already, but whatever, it's fine.
Maybe we get the motorcycle kind of off to the, like, back of the shop panel.
I want to turn to Carl and be like, can you send a few, can you go over just, like, in small form to give us some more visuals on who these people are and, like, who is where? Can you give us some more detail? I can probably identify if you can get over there.
As you say that, there's just like thousands of images suddenly streaming into your head.
I am more expecting it this time, so it doesn't give me the same powerful blow, but it is kind of, like, flinch-worthy. I think it'll take me a sec to get, like, completely used to it.
And Carl, are you, like, scouting out?
I'm assuming at this point that all of my insects are, like, scattered all over the place. But
yeah, I think we get, like, a couple panels of just more insects than normal, but not enough that anyone's questioning it, like, going through the, like, encampment here. And we're going to start with a panel where you're very close up with this shadowy figure, and we get it in more clarity here. Felix, go ahead and describe what the Dark Rider looks like in suit.
So the Dark Rider's suit actually looks remarkably similar to Rider Typhon's suit. The key differences is, one, it's black, hence the name Dark Rider. Two, it's actually missing where the Rider suit has, like, a knight's helmet on the front covering the bug eyes. There's no knight's helmet there's no knight's helm on the front of it, so you just see the bug eyes. Maybe an older Common Rider style. The shoulder blade or the shoulder paneling is more instead of spiky like the Rider, like Rider Typhon's, it's more straight, more almost tech-like. I think of a slim early Iron Man, except buggy, if that makes sense.
Cool. And the only thing I'm going to interject is that currently, like, even when you're close, Dark Rider is, like, cloaked in the shadow and is a bit of an indistinct form. Like, all the details are there, but they're kind of shaded in shadows around the edges. And then moving on from that, we get a panel of you just flying through past the guards and then over towards the vans and being dragged out of the back of the vans by two like large burly guards. And so, and you see, which some of you all know, I think Faye and Ryder have run into him before. Human Resources, or HR. He's this...
We have, yeah.
Very tall, like, not inhumanly tall, but on the, like, tall... So, like, at the very tip of human possibility of tallness, and the same thing with how skinny he is. And he's dressed in this just absolutely impeccable business suit with the symbol of the Cult of the White Death on his lapel. And he is just overseeing these two, like, larger, burlier cult guards dragging what is clearly Leo with a hood over his head towards the center of this sigil. Moon Harbor Heroes is produced by Anthony Sheets and TP Huth, and edited by Anthony Sheets. Anthony can be found on Twitter at Icy New Year, or at icynewyear.com. T is the host of Incubator on Air, a new play podcast available on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, and Google Play. They can be found at T Huth Playwright on Twitter, or at tphuth94 on Instagram. Faces is GM by me, Anthony Sheets. Carl is played by Simon Meskins. You can find him on Twitter as Jill Bareka. Faye is played by T.P. Huth. Ryder Typhon is played by Kaido Kane. Kaido is a Twitch personality and loves their 3 mischievous cats. You can find them at the Versian on Twitter, and as Kaido Kane on twitch.tv. Violet Starling is played by Zweifang. Our logo was designed by Beautiful Beasties. She can be found on Instagram at beastly.doodles or at patreon.com/beautifulbeasties. The music in this issue is Black Vortex by Kevin MacLeod. A link to his website and the license will be in the show notes. If you want to get a hold of us, email us at moonharborheroes@gmail.com or find us on Twitter at moonharborcast. If you enjoyed this issue, please leave us a review on iTunes and tell a friend. Word of mouth and 5-star reviews are really the best way for us to keep bringing these stories to more people. And thanks for helping us save the world. We'll see you next issue.